What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Final Fantasy. We had a lot go down. We got a brand new crystal appeared in the sky. Its name's Origin, and we did wrap up a little things that we had to wrap up inside the hideaway last episode, but we did not talk to Joshua, so let's go get that started.
Ultima may have created us, but he doesn't make us who we are. Only we can do that.
The beauty of free
If he
will.
would have us fight for our survival, so be it. It's what we've been doing all along.
Much like Ultima himself, it would seem. His new world being naught but a means to survive. And so, we must contend to decide which of us shall inherit the land. Should Ultima prevail, it will mean death for us all. Of that, we can be certain. But even should he fail, what world awaits us? A withered, godless place, where our newfound freedom will most like prove a chain in itself.
Well, that may be. But a chain can always be broken. As long as one has the will to break it. It won't be easy. It may take generations. Centuries of suffering. And that is if everyone plays their part. But it will happen. And when it does, it will be on our terms. That is the world that awaits us.
Indeed. And what better world could one wish for?
That's kind of what the whole game's been about, really. The power of free will and the power to control your own destiny, your own fate.
First, we have to reach that crystal.
As Joshua
It's a good
said,
thing I have wings.
what better world could you hope for?
You can barely stand, let alone fly. And only the Founder knows what horrors await in those skies. You certain about this?
Am I certain? I am the Phoenix. I will do what I must. This is our fight. Remember.
Plus, if he needs a little juice up, we can always join with him as a fruit and fly up together.
I yield. But only what you must, yes? I'm still your sworn shield.
That you are.
And what of my wings? Lest you forget, you go to stand against a god. I would not have you succumb to fatigue before the fight begins. Ifrit, your brother mentioned that some few of the dominants who had lost their power to you were still able to prime. Is that true?
It is. But their Eikons no longer submitted to their will.
Then mine will have to be stronger. That you both might save your strength for the battle to come.
You don't have to do this.
If you do, there's a chance you might lose all you have left.
And what have I but regret? My life ended in the Dominion. I fear death no more. Besides, I would have words with Ultima.
I like Dion's character a lot. He's not wrong about that. Especially from Dion's perspective.
We are in your debt, Dion.
Ultima tore his family apart, his
I
empire,
can speak of debts when this is over.
his father's legacy. Tricked and manipulated him into killing his own father.
He speaks like a man who knows he's not coming back. And has come to terms with that.
That doesn't mean that we have to, does it, Clive?
Time to talk to Jill.
Really, if you think about it, if you put
Only
everybody
hope she
together,
understands.
Dion has more at stake than any of us in terms of wanting to shove like a spear up Ultima's ass. I mean, Ultima created us, and he's been trying to possess us most of the game, but he hasn't done anything so personally. Like he did to Dion, right? He didn't make Annabella betray us at Phoenix Gate and try and secure her legacy. That was just her being a piece of shit. And we already got payback on that. Ultima isn't the reason bearers were the way that they were, or that Tyon decided to smash the hideaway up, although maybe it was Ultima who cut Benedicta's head off and sent it to him. I'm assuming that was Ultima, or at least maybe Barnabas. Maybe he was doing that for Ultima. But he hasn't done much for personal spice against us, really, when you cut it down to brass tacks. Dion, however, Ultima manipulated his entire empire, made his father besmirch his own legacy, sell his people down the shaft. He made Dion ultimately take a swipe at the little illusion child, which led to him killing his father, and said that he knew that was going to happen and he wanted it to be that way. But if I was Dion, I would do whatever it took to. I'd be extra spicy about all that. My stance on that situation would be you point, I'll shoot. Okay, well, there's no side quests up yet. I'm very nervous about missing things at this point, because I don't know if there's a point of lock off or not.
Come to wish on a star.
That might not be such a bad idea. This is it, Jill. You know what I have to do. Why I have to do it. There's no turning back now. This is where our journey was leading us. Where it will end, for better or worse.
I could pray to Metia for you. But you'll be all right, won't you, Clive? You always are.
I did promise we'd watch the moon together.
I'll be waiting.
Well, if there was ever a cause worth a big heroic sacrifice, it would be this one.
It's almost time. Better make sure I haven't forgotten anything.
And I imagine that would be the point of no return, given that he just went out of his way to specifically tell us about that. So, what do we have? Karen, in a mood. In case you haven't noticed, your poor hound spends all of his time lay on the rear deck whimpering like Gav in his cups. Something ain't right, and my gut tells me it's naught to do with his supply of antelope bones. Definitely take care of that.
What is it this time, Torgal?
Can't have our puppy in bad spirits. An important part of our team. If we can get another power-up, juice up for him, that'll be perfect. In search of a lost tome. Reluctant as I am to add to your burdens, I would ask you aid in a personal matter, albeit one that may be beneficial to your cause. There exist ancient texts deemed so injurious to modern thought that mere possession is deemed a crime, and it was a chance encounter with one such tome, from a distance, that sparked within me the scholastic curiosity which burns to this very day. I wish to enlist your aid in reclaiming that text. Should you require further incentive, know that I am willing to offer compensation for services rendered. We will of course do that. We're not a fan of burning books and altering history, banned thought, banned speeches, no-go in all cases in my opinion, so.
Something tells me this is no mere adventure story.
I follow the kind of train of belief that if you hear something you don't disagree with, the best way to counter that is to give your own opinion. Battle of thoughts or words in the battleground kind of situation. Or if you don't want to do that, but you still don't want to, hear something, nobody forces you to listen. You can switch off. You can unfollow the people that post things that make you mad. You can switch off the TV station that tells you things you don't want to know. Nobody sits you down and forces you into any of that. Wait. So where is... You see, I thought Karen had a quest for us, but she doesn't have an icon. What can we do for you, Uncle Byron?
Clive, my boy! Rutherford informs me that we owe you our thanks. Hadn't intended for you to get involved, but such are the times we live in, huh?
Indeed.
I would have done the same for anyone else.
You're far too modest, Clive. You'd make a terrible nobleman. But tell me, is the realm truly in as dire a state as Rutherford suggests?
I think some would say Uncle Byron makes a terrible nobleman.
Right to be worried.
How much of his coffers has he given away to our
Suppose I
cause?
should have expected the worst. But I was rather hoping the great and good of the realm might have things a little more under control.
At least he doesn't have to worry about
Seems that firm leadership
hiding
is in
under
short
Annabella's
supply
axe
these days,
anymore.
and without it, the people are bound to lose their way. We must move quickly.
But where do we start?
True, the challenges that face us are many, but in my estimation, there are two key areas to be addressed before any other. The realm's armies and her larders. As you've seen firsthand, it's every man and woman for themselves out there. Certain cities have banded together to try and maintain some semblance of order, yes, but such cases are few and far between. And yet, the only remedy for the chaos that faces us is unity. A unity that transcends even the borders laid down by our ancestors. In short, if Storm does not stand together, she will fall apart.
Then let's
How
get the
would one
glue.
even begin to unite the realm?
The armies, my boy. As I told you already, we begin by restoring order among the ranks of those sworn to maintain it. Sadly, I doubt I could convince even the lowliest gaggle of privates to dig a latrine together. But I do know someone the High Commanders have been known to listen to on occasion. Field Marshal Eugen Havel.
I thought he was retired.
He was, until an Akashic army tore through Randalar and killed most of the rank and file. There is no man alive more capable. Literally.
Havel is a hell of a
As
name.
luck would have it, I've already spoken with him on the matter.
Or maybe I just think that because of
course,
Dark
yeah.
Souls.
And
Good old
he's
Havel the
agreed
Rock.
to help. On one condition. That he first speaks with you personally.
I don't see why that
Havel
would be a
has always
problem.
been a man of frustratingly rigid principle, and he has certain qualms about clasping arms with, well, with an outlaw. I extolled your many virtues as best I could, of course, but
course.
the old goat was adamant that he be allowed to appraise you in person.
Maybe he'd like to clash
You don't
swords.
mind, do you, my boy?
Of course not.
Of course not. As long as chaos reigns, we will never build a better world. I'll do whatever it takes. And if the Field Marshal wishes to speak with me in person, then so be it.
That's the spirit.
I'll leave for Randalar at once. Would you send a Stolas?
Of course. Rutherford is already in the Dalmekian capital. I'll have him tell Havel to expect you forthwith.
Excellent. Thank you, Uncle.
No, thank you, Clive.
I mean, the times are so dire in this situation that we're in, and we know that we might not be coming back from Origin, so as a leader, it's kind of your responsibility to set all this up as best you can to make sure that if it is over and you perhaps don't make it back, you set everybody else up in a good enough situation or position where it doesn't matter. Like Clive going up there, maybe I trade out with Ultima, right? We want to make sure that we have all this set up behind us to make sure that if we fall, it can continue. Because the work doesn't end with us, so it does end. We have to have everybody around us very capable of continuing the journey. What's going on, boy?
Pining for something, boy. What is it? What do you see out there? I never did ask where you got that anklet of yours.
From Sid, that's why. On the day he brought him home.
That long ago?
And you're only thinking to ask this now? Sid saw that the pup had a habit of gnawing on his leg, since you ask. Clap that there iron on him to keep him from doing it.
What was wrong, boy?
I'll take like as not. Must have been hard on the poor whelp losing his loving masters at such a young age. Doubly hard in being a frost wolf, torn away from his Eikons and all. Sid would always tell him, you want that iron gone, you find what it is you're looking for. I reckon what he was looking for was you.
I'm sorry, Torgal. Sorry for making you wait so long. Let's get that thing off you.
Or maybe not.
Doesn't sound like he wants it off.
Indeed. You miss Sid as much as the rest of us, don't you? You want me to go with you
He's a
somewhere?
cool looking wolf. I love Torgal.
Quick, aren't you? Glad you've been paying attention.
Not nearly as much as you have, Lady Karen.
Aye, good thing and all. It's not like Gav would have kept him in nuts and rubbed his belly these past 10 summers.
Your kindness is appreciated. You've been a good friend to him.
Only because he doesn't talk back like the rest of you. Go on now.
Nah, you got a soft spot for the puppy. You know you do.
Where to then, Torgal?
Everybody has a soft spot for the puppy. I feel it's my favorite character. Well, at least team character. That's not entirely fair. I like a lot of these characters.
Then the crystal. What next?
It's not just Torgal. I like... Yeah, that's a mile away. I think that's all up in the, yeah, in the observatory section. I'm Torgal.
All right, Torgal. Where are you taking me? I'm going to need a little bit more than that, boy. Do you have a better hint for me? Unless... you've already given me one. Back on the rear deck, you were looking west, toward Rosaria. Why don't we try the rookery? I haven't been to the island in almost 20 years.
It seems like we
port is
found
older
where he
than
wants to go.
Fingers crossed the old mooring is still there.
Maybe he feels a little homesick. Not uncommon, especially for a little puppy. I say that like he's not a warhound that's helped us kill gods.
Joshua, what's wrong? And don't say nothing.
It's... not nothing. I've received word from Cyril. The Undying have found Father's will, or something akin to it.
His will? How? And where?
In the crypt beneath Rosalith Castle. After Kupka was kind enough to drive out the Imperials, the Undying took the opportunity to recover what relics of the Duchy yet remained. And in the process of doing so, they found a letter from Father.
I'm surprised anything survived down there.
Cyril asked that I join him in Tabor at my convenience. I have been meaning to go, but... would you join me?
Absolutely. We gotta be close to the end of the game. We're getting our father's will.
Of course. I want to know what's in that letter as much as you do.
Very well. I am ready to leave when you are.
Very interesting things, I'm sure. continue our rounds. Make sure we grab everything up before we start playing around with them. We do for you, Doris.
Sid, do you have a moment?
By all means.
It's my old master. Seems there's no escaping her. She found some way to send me a letter.
I told you we should have killed her in the
Something
field.
else. Records from a Waluda prison. Seems they were keeping a lot of bearers there.
How did she come by such a thing?
Finding bearers always was her strong point. And it seems the cells of Balmung Dark are full of them. Foreign captives, the masterless. Bearers no one would miss. And even better for her, bearers with no one to look after them. When ether started lapping at the walls, the jailers fled.
Leaving the bearers to be liberated by whoever happened to come along next.
Sid, I'd like to believe that I've earned your trust by now. And while I'm well aware that you've forbidden Cursebreakers from traveling to Waloed, I can't let those bearers die in their cells. I'd rather risk shipwreck on the Shadow Coast than leave them to starve.
You don't need to. You can just come with me. Also, don't need the speeches. You've been solid 100% so far, so... All you had to do was ask.
If we're going to navigate
You didn't need the speech.
Does that mean...
I'm making an exception, but we travel together. And we stay no longer than we have to. Ash is an inhospitable place at the best of times. We save as many as we can, and we leave.
Thank you, Sid. There was a name in the prison register. A name from my past. Chadwick. Another of my former master's protégés. A gifted soldier, and the closest thing I had to family. The thought of him held captive in that place.
He must be very important to you.
He was. Is.
Then we find him.
The entrance to the prison lies in the shadow of Ravenwit Walls, just beyond the portcullis. We should head there as quickly as we can. I only pray there are still bearers alive to save.
As do I, Doris.
Now, she said it came from her former master, so I wonder why her former master knows about this prison, huh? Surely it couldn't be that she wants us to go clear the way so she can swoop in and get the slavers, right? I knew she wasn't going to get justice when we sent her off with whoever we sent her off with. It never works like that. Especially not in a game like
I was
this.
wondering if you could help me.
It depends what with.
A bearer, but recently freed from his bonds, is keen to join the Cursebreakers. As you know, the work we do is not easy, which is why we test every volunteer's suitability. I was hoping you could oversee this one's evaluation.
I don't mind, but why this one?
Because he wants to be a scout. Our ranks are filled with men and women capable of breaking chains and putting slavers to the sword. But scouting, we're few with the nose for that, which is why we still rely so heavily on Gav. And since he accompanies you on so many of your missions, I thought you might be better placed to recognize the traits in him that we should look for in those who'd fill his boots.
Sounds reasonable.
So you're happy to oversee the boys' test, then?
Let's see why not.
One can never have too many scouts.
Truer words, Sid. I'll let the initiate know that you'll be attending his trial, and that he is to proceed directly to Northreach in readiness.
No time like the present, eh?
No time like the present. I'll await you there.
Damn, we're gonna be busy for this episode and probably the next one too with all this.
Northreach. I don't suppose they could have chosen somewhere closer.
Just threw a whole lot at us. It's the, we don't have any new hunts. Get to Vivian while we're here.
Vivian, I read your note, and I'd be happy to help you find the book you're looking for.
Thank you, Clive. But tracking it down will not be easy. Are you sure?
Please. You have always granted me your wisdom and insight whenever I asked. It's only right that I return the favor. Or at least attempt to.
You are too kind. Alas, what I ask of you is rather more trying than delivering the odd lecture. I spoke with Harpocrates to see if he had any inkling as to where another copy might be found, but... But perhaps it is best that you hear the details from him.
If you say so.
Forgive me, Clive, for asking this of you.
I mean, I've asked you of plenty.
It set me on the path to becoming
Because I'm the boss doesn't mean you're not allowed to talk to me.
Its importance cannot be overstated.
The Hideaway has always been more of a family situation than an office affair anyways, right? We've all been asking favors, supporting each other. Not to be so professional.
What do you think happened to Miss...
Sid! You have to help us!
With what? You didn't take apart another of Mid's contraptions, did you?
No? Well, yes. But that's not what we want to talk to you about.
It's Miss Mididol. She's been acting strange. Very strange. She's barely ever around.
When she is, she acts like we aren't even there. Her head's in a crowd.
In the clouds.
Well, she is under a lot of
That's what I
pressure and
said,
stress,
in the
and her father
clouds.
did.
Well,
It's
she does
smoke.
have a lot on her mind. When did you last see her?
Not long ago. Ah, right after she got back from saving you from Stonear.
Then it's probably just about the Enterprise. It did take quite a battering on the way there and back.
You didn't break it, did you, Sid? You really should be more careful around Miss Mididol's inventions.
Who
listen
helped
to
you fix
her.
the scales again?
Even if you did break the Enterprise, you could put it back together, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Who's gonna put Miss Mididol back together?
Well, actually, most likely
She
not.
seems really sad.
Why don't I go and see if I can cheer her up?
You do that? For us?
And for
In her dungeon?
Don't scare him. It's not a real dungeon.
Thanks for the warning.
we got all these loose ends to tie off. Definitely feels like a point of no return situation. Got new scouts to replace Gav. We're hoping to cure Mid's woes before we head off into the giant crystal in the sky.
Forgotten. Sid, may I have a moment?
Of course.
It is an honor to finally speak with you. My name is Herman. I've been with the Cursebreakers for some time now, and I wish to be deployed to Ash. Any assignment will do.
No. The lands across the Narrow are too dangerous. I will not send good men and women to risk their lives needlessly. Why would you want to go back?
I need to retrieve something. Something important. I was raised in an orphanage. The Badbach Conservatory.
We went there, that's where we got Odin's Trail.
I was held captive there. It was not a place of nurture.
Yeah, I remember
Existed
that
solely
place.
to turn bearer children into mindless weapons.
Looked like
We
a
were
cathedral.
tortured until we feared no pain. Tormented until our hearts turned to stone. And few ever survived long enough to become tools of the last king.
I can't imagine.
I lost so many. I can't even remember all their names. But they must be remembered. They cannot fade away, faceless and forgotten. The Institute was run with military precision. Every child measured, every name recorded, every death logged with meticulous care. Sid, allow me to travel to Ash and recover the registry so that my brothers and sisters might live on.
We can go take care of that.
You're a good friend, Herman. But the fact
It's going to be
remains that
important
Ash
for
is
his
simply too
closure.
dangerous.
Sid, please, even should it cost me my life.
Too dangerous for you, Herman. But not for me. I'll go to Badbach and find the registry.
You will?
I won't let you risk your life.
I don't know how to thank you.
You can start by telling me where I'll find this orphanage.
Vida Grace. Hidden in a forest, overlooking the plains.
All right. I'll see what I can find there.
May the mothers guide you.
Yeah, that's not only important for his closure, but it's also just important in general. That's like a torture camp for children. I'd happily retrieve the registry and build a memorial for that. And put it somewhere here in the hideaway. I don't imagine we have many curse breakers from Ash, or just people here in general from Ash. I wonder where the pregnant lady went. I think they were coming back to the hideaway, right? Because Gav brought her back here, I think. She's probably hanging around here somewhere. What's going on with you, Mid?
Mid, if you have a...
That's it! I knew it! The answer was right here under my arse all along! If this doesn't steer to the skies, nothing will!
To the skies? You aren't trying to give the Enterprise wings, are you?
What else would I be doing?
The children seem to think you're avoiding them. They're worried about you. Is this really so important that you need to shut yourself away from everyone?
The Enterprise is already the fastest ship in the realm, and that's with the sea beneath her. But what if she weren't bound to the waves? What if she weren't bound to anything at all? It's not fair. The gods get the skies all to themselves, so I'm gonna do something about it.
Interesting.
The Fallen had their chance, but they relied too much on magic. And see where that got them? But not me. I've discovered how to do it without. Well, almost. First I need to make a prototype.
And is that a one-woman job?
Are you volunteering? I'll have you know the Enterprise is my baby. But if a godfather's offering to lend a hand, I'd be happy to take it.
I'd be happy to help if that gives
First
me an
I need
airship.
oil, and not just some old drippings from Miss Molly's spits in the tub and crown. Refined stuff, like they make in Ordil. Then I'll need some bone, or shell. Light, strong, preferably no longer attached to the beast it belongs to.
If it's beast bones you're after, I'm sure the curse breakers will know where you might find some.
No, they'll know where you might find some. You're the one who offered to help, remember?
I should speak with one of the curse breakers before I set off for Old Hill.
Yeah, I don't see
I
why
can't
not.
find this bone while I'm there as well.
That might be a good monster hunt for us too, because we are still on the market for, what is it? I don't know, Orichalcum, that's what it is. We need 2 more of those before we can craft that legendary sword. Which I am certainly on the market for.
Alright, Sid. Come to buy us around, have you?
Maybe
Only
later.
If you earn it. Mid needs a piece of light but durable bone for her next project. You've encountered your share of beasts on your travels across the realm. Any ideas?
Most bones are the same. Whack 'em hard enough and they'll break. If it's durability you're looking for, shell will serve you better. You know what an adamantus is?
I do. And I know to give them a wide berth. Will any old adamantus do?
Well, with shells, the older the harder. There's a rumour of an ancient adamantus down in Karava, near Old Bidza, or what's left of the village anyway. But don't expect to make quick work of the bastard. There's a reason it's lived as long as it has.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
It sounds like we have an ancient turtle to kill. Defeat a desert tour in Karava. That's not even a hunt, it just wants us to go to Karava. Alright, well I think the hideaway is clear of quests now, so... What do we have? We are obviously not going anywhere near the main story yet. Port as old as for Torgal. I think, what is Karava? Is that in the Old Hill docks? Or by there, I guess? Yeah, I don't think any of this is... I don't think Karava has a fast travel, so... Alright, well, let's start in Storm. I'd like to get Torgal's thing done this episode. He is the best boy. I'm very curious what he's wondering about. Which I don't think this even was the one for Torgal, was it? More than words. Maybe it was. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just go get to it. We got Joshua with us too. His Majesty accompanying us. Oh, before I forget, I did do a couple trials of different icons while we were gone. I did Ramu's icon. I did the Phoenix. I did Garuda. I think Titan, I'm not sure. I was really tired when I was doing that just because I couldn't sleep. There wasn't anything worth recording, which is why I didn't. Okay, I didn't even put on whatever I got. I think I got... Yeah, I got this. Favor of Lightning, which is increasing Judgment Ball damage by 6%. But I was expecting it to be higher than 6. 6 seemed kind of mid to me, so that's the reason it's not equipped. Take it Ambrosia for this.
Come on.
Yeah, those trials are fun. I figured after I had to edit the Odin one to give it space for the episode, I'd just do the rest off camera. Save the stuff in for the episodes. See, there's so many interesting side quests in this game that it seemed wasteful to spend so much time on trials of me just mindlessly slaughtering things.
That'll do, girl.
Stop that. Whatever you're charging, stop it. Oh boy.
Stay down.
That's impressive, and then just blows him the fuck out with a giant phoenix blast.
Mid's oil. After what happened here, it's a miracle there was any left at all.
That's destination nearby. Oh, right. Silly me. More ship oil. Speaking of, a little tired. And where would the other one be? That's in some of these houses.
This should be enough.
Beautiful. And now we have Paul's old. I think this was the one for Torgal. Wait, why are you bringing me here? Is Carava on the map? Is that why? Oh, we went there. So we just go straight up left here. Well, that was silly. I spawned right by the quest and just didn't pay attention. Whoops.
It's still here. After all these years. Lots more than I remember. And you're a lot bigger. You might have to swim, boy.
You gonna help me row?
I wasn't being serious.
You two go on without me. I doubt that boat will hold a third.
If you're sure, we won't be long. Hop in, boy.
What island do we even go into?
This place hasn't changed at all. The rookery's right through those trees. Come on. Race you there? I bet I could still beat you.
We're giving him a giant advantage by me looking around.
This was our hideaway. Wasn't it, Torgal?
Torgal has a hell of a jump.
Coming here helped me to forget who I was. Or wasn't. Prince, shield. Son his mother could love. Had I been any one of those things? Perhaps. What is it, boy? This is all from the castle. And Phoenix Gate. Did you bring these here? My sparring sword. Well. You never stopped looking for me, did you, boy? Thank you, Torgal.
Bro, I love this wolf so much.
For never giving up. For never forgetting.
Man's best friend, for real, for real.
Let's take this with us, shall we? So I don't forget either.
We got somewhere else to go.
That's not the way back to the boat, Torgal. All right. I'm coming.
You're gonna get so many pets and free
I know
antelope
where we're
bones
going.
after this. He really has been the best companion to us too. He saved us from Odin's blade. He was willing to defend us against Ultima when he was cast in the fire. Torgal really has been the realest real one. Like, no matter what, he's been there. He's taken every dangerous path with us. Faced every sword with us. He's been there since the start. No matter how dangerous it got. Hard to get that kind of loyalty out of people, I'll tell you that.
People always talk about the importance of putting the past behind you. But without it, we wouldn't be who we are today. And we certainly couldn't steer our way to a better tomorrow. Come on, Torgal. Let's go home.
You feel better now, boy. The fact that he was collecting our belongings and our sword for all those years while we were just gone is the most adorable shit ever. Clive's old sparring sword, salvaged by a faithful friend in the aftermath of the Ironblood invasion 18 winters past. Remember, Clive, your blade is not your only weapon. Rodney Murdoch.
Sorry for the wait. We're ready.
You are incredible, my friend.
You get so big.
Alright. Well, the episode has been going on for around 45 minutes, so I'm gonna probably wrap it on that rather charming, heartwarming note. So, thank you for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, as always, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon with more Final Fantasy. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Pet your animals.